going to talk Liverpool and Arsenal now. James, let's start with Liverpool. Already got a fullback in, or perhaps a winger, who knows. Do we expect them to get super busy in the summer?
Well, they're looking to build on that title success and what they did last season. Bearing in mind, last summer was a relatively quiet summer for Liverpool. They brought in Chiesa, they brought in the goalkeeper Mamardashvili, who will join this summer. But they were relatively quiet because they'd rebuilt that midfield under Jurgen Klopp the previous season. So they're looking to build on that now. Florian Wirtz potentially coming in for £105 million. Talks ongoing, but we understand Wirtz only wants to join Liverpool. They've already got Jeremy Frimpong through the door as well. And clearly a lot of the budget is being spent on Wirtz if he does come in for around £105 million. Leverkusen want to do a deal for around £120 million. Liverpool also want to sign a striker. Let's bear in mind what they've done this season without a recognised striker because of the form of Mohamed Salah on that right-hand side. Darwin Núñez perhaps hasn't excelled in a Liverpool shirt. He scored very important goals at times for them over the course of the last couple of seasons, but perhaps they don't have the best striker right now. Diego Jota plays out at times, but he's been injury-prone as well. Clearly, they'd like a left-back, I think, right now. We mentioned Milos Kerkez. It's felt that perhaps, from pundits, from maybe those inside the club, that it is time now to refresh that area of the pitch. What Andy Robertson has done in a Liverpool shirt has been remarkable since joining from Hull City. Kostas Tsimikas has done a decent job there as well, but that is an area that they want to strengthen. Clearly, they'd like maybe a young new centre-back as well, maybe a defensive midfielder, but a lot of that will depend on what happens when it comes to sales. Clearly, if Luis Diaz departs, that would be a significant transfer fee. We know that Harvey Elliott has spoken about wanting to play first-team football. Cody Gakpo is a player who's been linked away as well, but he's done brilliantly this season under Arne Slot. So it's going to be a busy summer for Liverpool simply because the squad does need a slight refresh, despite the fact they were so impressive last season. There will be plenty of work done, and Florian Wirtz would clearly be the icing on the cake.
Mark, do you see a lot of Liverpool players going?
I only see the players departing Liverpool that they want to depart. Got huge respect for Richard Hughes, the sporting director, and Michael Edwards, the CEO of FSG. They have two people really wise, clever, astute, experienced when it comes to running football clubs. And FSG's model has always been to be really sensible and sustainable. They don't chuck money around. They're very clever and, they like to spend money in the right direction, in the right way. They don't just chuck big wages at people and big fees at people. So therefore, there will be a real plan. And you can see already Frimpong in through the door, getting close with Wirtz, talk about one or two others. And we've only been open for 3 days, and they're already making big moves. And it always reminds me of something that Sir Alex Ferguson said. Always strengthen when you're at your best. And that's what it feels like Liverpool are doing right now. And there'll be one or two departures, no question about it. But they will have had a plan for every eventuality. I spent 15 years watching Richard Hughes work at Bournemouth. I spent 10 years or so, I'm ageing myself now, watching him play as a player at Portsmouth and Bournemouth. He's someone that knows the game inside out, a really successful first season, and they will have an eventuality and a plan for every possible scenario with regards players in and players out at Liverpool.
And just in terms of one potential exit, I mentioned Federico Chiesa. It simply hasn't worked out at Liverpool this season, at least. I think it felt like a punt worth taking for a player who had been injury prone, but because the transfer fee was so small, Liverpool thought, why not? Let's go for it. Unfortunately, he featured just 14 times for Liverpool this season, but the deal was only around £10 million. So I don't think Liverpool are feeling too hurt by that right now, but there's still an opportunity that he comes again next season. He's been speaking about his future. He admits a return to Italy is something to think about this summer, but he says, I work every day with Liverpool to be in top shape. The goal is to be ready for the pre-season, but we'll find the best solution for everyone. It does feel like Federico Chiesa could be one to depart this summer, but clearly in terms of wiggle room when it comes to profit and sustainability, they're not going to get a huge amount of money for him. Maybe there will be a significant sale, perhaps Luis Diaz, perhaps Darwin Núñez.
Let's talk Arsenal then. Thierry Henry last week or the week before piled in on Mikel Arteta, said they were nowhere near, they didn't challenge at any stage. How busy have Arsenal got to be, Mark, for them to challenge next season?
It feels like they've been close for so long, but they've not had that piece of Thierry Henry magic. That one player, particularly in an attacking third, we've got, Bukayo Saka there who is exceptional, but when he was out injured, you really felt like, where were the goals going to come from? It's the one position that Arsenal fans have been crying out for them to strengthen over the course of the last, 2-3 transfer windows, really. And it feels like if Arsenal had that out-and-out number 9, they may be in a very different position to where they are now.
Right, let me throw some names at you then. Gyökeres, Sesko, Osimhen. Which one?
Right, I'll tell you what, let's go with Benjamin Sesko, 22 years old, someone that's been in the Red Bull group, just 13 goals and assists last season for RB Leipzig, someone that has undoubted quality. A couple of windows ago, he was linked with Real Madrid. Real Madrid were keeping tabs on him, someone that was really, really on the radar for a number of clubs. This is a deal that's been described to me as a cheaper deal than the other player you mentioned, or the other two players you mentioned, Victor Gyökeres and Osimhen as well. Now, the problem with Victor Gyökeres is he's 27 years old tomorrow, and now football clubs look at deals and they say, right, if we're going to invest 60, 70, 80 million pounds plus agents' fees and wages on this kind of a player, what are we going to get back in 3 or 4 years down the line?
Well, some goals.
Hopefully some goals, but at 27 years old, the chances of you flogging him on for 40 or 50 million in 4 or 5 years' time is very, very slim. But Victor Gyökeres, a player I absolutely adore. I love watching him on loan at Coventry. I love watching him play for Coventry before he went to Sporting. Last season, 46 goals and assists just in the league, 7 in the Champions League. He is going to guarantee you goals. Will he guarantee them in the Premier League is the big question. But no question, he is another player that is on the radar of Arsenal. Osimhen, another good player, another goal scorer, but hefty. Big investment as well. So that's the 3 that Arsenal are linked to at the moment. There could be 1 or 2 others, but do Arsenal have the transfer funds to go and spend 120 million on one player?
You tell me.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think
really?
So. No. I think they have to be a little bit more clever. I think Mikel Arteta has spent, best part of £1 billion over the last 5 years on players, and all they've done is got to second.
Got close,
They've got close. They've been outstanding. They've been on this really good journey and this really good project, but ultimately, Newcastle, Palace, these teams are judged on silverware in the cabinet, particularly for Arsenal. Just doing well, just finishing second is not good enough.
They will sign a striker. It depends who it's going to be. I think it's going to be between those 2 options. And there are internal discussions ongoing right now between Gyökeres and Sesko. I don't think they'll be going for Osimhen. And Mark's so right, there's the 2 options there. I think Arsenal fans want the finished product, I think, right now. You've got Sesko's 22, he's got a modest goal-scoring record, but you look at what Gyökeres has done at Sporting Lisbon, 97 goals in 102 matches for the club. There was an argument, there was a report that there's a slight difference of opinion in terms of who Andrea Berta, the new sporting director, wants and who Mikel Arteta wants. But Mikel Arteta spoke to us a couple of weeks ago and said, that's not the case. We're on the same hymn sheet. We know what we're going to do. It's going to be a big summer of recruitment. But I think when you look at Arsenal this season in the Premier League, their highest goal scorer in the Premier League was Kai Havertz with 9 goals. And he missed 3 months of the football. They will sign a striker. Gyökeres feels like the finished article. I think that's what Arsenal fans would want right now. Sesko could go on and have a massive high ceiling. They will sign someone, but I think Arsenal fans want to see a bit of action now because you can see the other clubs have been so busy already in the first few days of this transfer window.
And I hate to mention it, but that lot down the road won a trophy, didn't they?
What lot?
That lot. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk Joe Bellingham, following in his brother's footsteps.
Welcome back to Sport Lab, your trusted source for serious football business. Big updates today on Liverpool and Arsenal as both clubs prepare for massive summer windows. Let's dive straight in. Liverpool, Wirtz in, Diaz out. Liverpool are moving fast under Arne Slot. After a quiet window last summer, the Reds are back in the market and spending big. Jeremy Frimpong is already through the door. Florian Wirtz is in advanced talks. He only wants Liverpool. Fee expected to land around £105 to £120 million. They're also in the hunt for a new striker. Darwin Núñez not convincing, Jota injury prone. A new left-back. Andy Robertson aging, Simica's backup. Possibly a young CB and DM, depending on outgoings. Potential departures. Luis Diaz could generate a big fee. Cody Gakpo performed well but linked away. Harvey Elliott wants more minutes. Federico Chiesa, signed for £10 million, only 14 appearances, could return to Italy. And don't forget, Liverpool's brains trust Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards are some of the best in the business. They're already 3 steps ahead, and this window could define Arne Slot's start. Arsenal, striker hunt begins. Over to North London, where Arsenal have to land a striker this summer if they want to stop being the almost team. Kai Havertz led their PL scoring with just 9 goals and he missed 3 months. Top targets: Benjamin Sesko, RB Leipzig, 22 years old, cheaper option, modest return, 13 GA last season. High ceiling, future resale value. Victor Gyökeres, Sporting Lisbon, 27 years old, 46 GA in Liga plus 7 in UCL. Finished article. Huge investment, 70 millions to 80 millions pounds, but resale unlikely. Victor Osimhen from Napoli. Big name, but not realistic, too expensive. Internal debate. Some reports suggest a slight disagreement between new sporting director Edu Gaspar and Mikel Arteta on which striker to go for, but publicly, both insist they're aligned. Arsenal fans are screaming for the now, not the maybe. Sesko may have potential, but Gyökeres looks ready to deliver immediately. Arteta's been backed heavily, close to £1 billion in spending, but it's silverware or bust next season. So, Liverpool are plotting dominance with Wirtz and Frimpong. Arsenal, they must land a striker who can hit 20+ goals next season. Let us know in the comments, would you prefer Gyökeres or Sesko at the Emirates? Can Wirtz take Liverpool back to the top? And which club will own this window? Like, subscribe, and stay locked to Sport Lab. We've got more updates coming on Spurs, Chelsea, and Bellingham Jr. next.